More!
Lunch break! Special shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Whether you're making a website, starting an online business or store, just getting a URL, do it with Squarespace.
It's weird, it's been a while since we've been in this set.
That's true. We've been on tour for Yappy the past couple weeks.
Yep.
Did we see any of you guys out there? Hope so. A lot of people said that they watched Lunch Break, so maybe they were lying.
We had some people wearing the lunch break shirt.
Oh yes.
Classic lunch break shirt.
We even had some people wearing recess, Wong Fu recess shirts.
Oh yeah.
You had to think about like, what's recess?
We were on the same team. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But our Yappy tour happened to coincide with another big release within the community, Crazy Rich Asians.
That's right. We were on the road going from city to city, but while we were actually at our DC stop, that's actually the day of the premiere. It's really exciting. This whole month, you know, people have been talking about it. It's been a lot of press.
It was cool because it was like you guys were on the road and it was like almost like a handoff because you guys were coming to a close to the Yappy tour. From one theater to the next for Crazy Rich Asians, it really felt like the momentum kept going.
So we had a sold out show in DC, 240 some people, but we're like, you know what, this is for the movement. After the show, we rarely do this, we rarely tell the fans where we're gonna be, but we told them, hey, we're gonna be at this other theater because that's where it was playing, and come meet us. And we actually got like 20 some people to go with us or to meet us there.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
That's pretty good.
After already watching an hour.
Commitment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you,
late.
guys.
Yeah, it was
It
late.
was like an
too.
11 p.m. showing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But we had to make the opening night. We had
Yeah,
to
for us to say in history that we went on opening night, we had to do it.
And we'd all already seen it multiple times too because we saw like a pre-screening and then you guys were at the premiere, right?
This movie was significant. The reason why we're talking about, why so much of our community is talking about, and even a lot of the industry is talking about, is because it is the first major studio film that in 25 years, that has an all Asian American lead cast.
In a contemporary story.
So there's been other movies like The Debut or
Better Luck Tomorrow.
Better Luck Tomorrow. Those are technically independent movies. They weren't funded by major studios.
Right. Yes, this was the first time a major studio from the get-go was like, okay, we're gonna put down a lot of money and go make this movie, which is significant. And therefore, it was very significant for us to support it because unfortunately in Hollywood, you know, money is the language that everyone speaks and bases everything off of. So if this movie didn't do well, then WB and everyone watching, you know, like all the other studios are gonna say, look, they put in all this money and it didn't make its money back, so we should not do that. Which is ridiculous because how many movies get to fail and are just like, oh well, it flopped.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
But also like the story of its creation with John and the writer of the novel, Kevin Quach. It's actually really inspiring too because they were given an offer to make this movie on Netflix, but they actually turned it down so that they can take this opportunity to make it for the big screen.
Not knocking on Netflix movies. Those are still very important, but there is something special about doing it the old school way and getting people to go to the theater.
I think that was the right decision to make. And seeing the box office results, opening weekend, #1.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
#1 above,
The Meg.
Way
Meg.
above the predictions too.
and then what?
Almost
Mile
double.
22?
Almost double the predictions, right?
I think it was interesting because we watched it a while ago, and I kind of like didn't remember certain details.
We got a preview. That's why.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I read it in between then, ironically on the Yappy tour. And then after I read it, I watched it again. So I had the mindset of like a book reader now, like, oh, it's not accurate or like whatever. But I still enjoyed it a lot. I think it was just fun to, like, we went in a theater with like 40 of our friends, all in the industry,
Dressed
all
up?
Asian American. Yeah, we dressed up like we were crazy rich. And I think that was just fun to be there and like look around the theater and everyone looks like us. Looks like us. Yeah.
It wasn't just that, like our group of friends, like we were there all like sharing that moment. There were other groups of Asian Americans and then non-Asians were like, I was actually looking at their reactions to us and they looked happy for us. And that was actually really nice. It wasn't like oh, what's that? That's weird. It's like they kind of knew, at least from their expression.
So I'm not Chinese. So the movie,
What?
there's a lot of stuff that like flew over my head. Like I didn't understand the significance, like certain traditions. Like let's say the dumpling scene. I don't think there's anything like that in Vietnamese culture where like we're sitting down. Like we might make egg rolls.
Yeah, spring rolls.
But like I think the dumplings seem like a stronger tradition kind of thing. Everyone's here making the dough and like folding. But there's other little moments I felt like I clung on to because I was like, oh, I get the the mother-daughter criticism or whatever. Like there's certain things I like that it was like, oh, because I'm Asian, I still get it. But of course, like I'm not like, oh, I'm not Chinese, so I don't. That's not like a criticism for me. Like I hate the movie because I'm not Chinese.
Right.
Like,
That's why movies like this need to exist, so it can hopefully enable other investors and studios to believe that there are more stories to tell. Because obviously, Crazy Rich Asians is not the only story that's out there.
I agree with Jen too. Like the dumpling scene, I'm not super traditional with my family about certain things. I knew the scene had a lot of weight for them. But in that scene, there was like a moment where the aunt's like, oh, do you speak Cantonese too? And that moment, so I'm Cantonese, and it's like, when in a movie, in the big screen, has there ever been a detail where they bring up, the different dialects of Chinese? It's like, I'm watching this as a Hollywood movie, and they're actually pointing out, oh, that's different than Mandarin, different than like, Hokkien. That's kind of cool. So those are the little details I really appreciated.
at the core of it, I enjoy that it's a likable rom-com. Because I'm a sucker for rom-coms and stuff. And the fact that it's like Asians in a rom-com. And like, there's a lot of criticism that's too cliche or whatever, but I'm like, it's a rom-com. Like, it's supposed to have like cliches and like those little sappy moments, but like, I love all that. I'm like,
people are surprised that, that this did well, and I'm like, dude, of course a rom-com did well for Asians. Asian people love like romantic stories. Like, look at K-dramas and look at Wong Fu Productions. Like, we see that Strangers Again is still our #1 video. For as long as we've been doing this, I think the dream has always been to have something of this scale and magnitude and acceptance. Like, it wasn't like a bad movie either. Like, it's good and people are enjoying it. And now that it's out, I'm kind of like, oh, now what?
Now that's out and it did well.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm not usually the first one to say it, but it's really nice that you guys recognize that because 15 years for us to get to this point, it is a really proud moment.
Even like when we talk about it in the office, I was like, oh yeah, maybe something like Crazy Rich Asians or a mainstream movie doing well like this, Asian Americans. I was like, yeah, maybe that'll be within like 10, 15 years. I think that there's still a lot to prove.
There's always like, okay, what's next, right? And not to say what's the next project, but even when the movie was being made, I remember it was like, awesome, we got greenlit, it's being made, right? And then we see the progress, and then the next question is, can we repeat that success again? We got more Asian movies coming up. There's never really we did it, that's the end, because progress is always gonna be there.
Yeah, we don't want Hollywood to think of this as like an outlier. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we want them to see it as like, oh, this was a good decision. We should make more decisions like this.
So obviously there's still more that, the community can do. You can go watch Crazy Rich Asians again.
There's also a movie called To All the Boys I Loved Before. There's a movie called Searching that stars John Cho. Yappy's still out there for y'all.
Yep.
Actually, I'm really surprised that when we asked who has not seen it,
We get about like 10.
no, we got like at least a third of the audience
Wow.
raise their hand. And they all claimed, oh, we were waiting to watch it here. And I'm like,
So what I would
2
do.
months?
That's what I would do.
We didn't announce the tour until the whole series was out. So what's going on?
We're all toured out, so you guys have to watch it.
Yeah, we're not going anymore. You guys have to watch it.
Thanks again to Squarespace for making these lunch breaks possible.
They got award-winning templates and customer service.
You can move your domain over to Squarespace. You can run a store through Squarespace, so definitely check them out. Use the code below for 10% off your first purchase.
Thanks for watching. New episodes every Thursday. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.